Welcome back to HGC Korea. We are in day 3. Got 2 best of 5s left for our opening weekend.
Yep, that was the first series, all 5 games, full set. It was long, but it was worth it. I think it showed the level, really showed the level of play in the middle section of the teams where the Korean region's gonna be. Well, and Mighty ended up winning, but I think GG also has a very good potential of going up a level, especially when Mighty also defeated MVP Miracle. So the clash between the middle rank when L5, Tempest, and MVP Black still looks very strong on top, those top 3.
I feel like if I could compare this to, in terms of StarCraft Pro League, I feel like where Mighty is right now is like CJ Entis level, where it's like this team's usually like 5th, 6th place in the league, but can occasionally have like a really good season and make like top tier playoffs and nearly make the finals or something like that. Like I feel like that's where Mighty's at. Like if you're a StarCraft fan and watch, you're up late watching Korean HGC, maybe you used to stay up and watch Pro League. It's like a comparison I'd like to make with where they're at right now. But we're moving into a completely different series here with L5 World Champions twice in a row, the first team to ever do so. I mean, they haven't dropped a map in this tournament. The only team who hasn't. MVP Black is 6-1.
Well, their opponent, Raven, is going to come out soon. But continue talking about L5. They look invincible, unbeatable. What are some other words that you can describe them? They're
impervious, unstoppable.
Completely insane.
They are. Yeah. They're just top tier. They are the best team in the world.
I don't see any mistakes, or some mistakes, but I don't see a big hole in their roster even. You can't really pick on one person that he is the worst one, but even he is like still God level good.
I think it's also that this team did not change rosters. The only team in Korea to not have any roster swaps. Very few teams worldwide keep their rosters between splits. There's usually a lot of shuffling going on. And to be honest, the teams that stay together the longest always do the best. That's why I predicted Misfits to do insanely well. They're at the top of HGC Europe right now and currently undefeated as well. They've only dropped 3 maps. They played a lot more games than L5. But the opponents here for them in Raven, this is, a team that may very well end up being one of our weaker teams. They did not look good in their previous series, but I think massively improved is H82 in the top lane, and Joju is a star player. We talked about it when they played previously on Friday, and I feel like Joju's the guy to look out for in terms of what they can accomplish here.
The Joju's cleanse were just so outstanding. Also, Diong staying in the front line as a warrior. He had some pretty good variants. Of course, they did lose, but still, I feel like Diong and also NMX, he really tried hard with that Li Ming. He got some resets, but ended up losing the game against Tempest. It was pretty rough, but still, they had a good fight.
They had a solid fight. Ended up losing it 0-3. And we'll see if they can take a map, be the first team to do so off of L5. I don't want to call this series over before it starts, but don't want Ismail to touch them, and they're going to do their best to be the first ones. Now, in terms of maps, we're going to have Cursed Hollow once more as our first map, and it's going to be picked by Raven as L5 will choose first ban.
And as you see, Braxis and Warhead Junction has been banned. We have not seen a single map played with Warhead or Braxis yet.
Yep.
I don't think, especially the Korean players, do not favor Warhead or Braxis too much. They think Braxis is way too snowbally and Warhead is just way too big. There are so many different things you can do. So just banning out what you're not comfortable with sounds pretty good to me.
Well, if you're looking for a big map, this is the next big thing. You've got Warhead Junction banned. This is one of the bigger maps, and with L5 having first pick, they will be able to control Falstad should they prioritize that. We have seen L5 prioritize Falstad over Ragnaros in first pick rotation. Actually, Varian making it all the way to the top of the list here.
So I think they saw the match yesterday of Diong playing Varian. Even if they lost, he was pretty good with those taunts. So just banning out Varian, they're targeting Diong to be out of the comfort zone. What else can you do right now?
This feels like they want to do something different than Falstad, because if you wanted to take Falstad, you would just ban Zarya here. It makes it look like they're scaring Raven right now, saying, well, you're either going to give us Tastar or Zarya. So Raven's actually considering this quite heavily now with this strange variant pick. So I'd say the likelihood that we see an early Zarya here is quite high, and we've seen Noblesse and this team, when it was known as Ballistics, cheese with Zarya and use it very aggressively, especially at level 1, to take an early lead. We saw it on Sky Temple as well quite a bit to get that early wall down. They're going to ban Zeratul, so this means that if they take Zarya, Raven can take Tastar. So this is a nice reaction here. It's going to be Vala that they're prioritizing. This feels like Season 3 Super League.
It does indeed, and now Raven has they actually have a lot more choices here as they just banned out Zeratul. They ended up just opening up everything. So giving the first choice to L5, doing whatever they want to. Let's see what they do and then choose what we do. They have Tastar, Falstad. They have a lot of globals available here. So they can just take out Falstad, so there's less shield on Vala. They can even take something else. Okay, Zarya, Ragnaros, still very strong. Feels like there's just so many things to ban and take away from each teams right now. They just have to actually see what the opponent is trying to do and then decide from that moment point on.
Falstad taken here first for L5. They're locking the range damage down very early, and they're going to take Tastar, of course, with this easy peasy. There's a lot of good bans here actually for Raven, so it makes it tough. Ariel is the glaring one. I was going to say they could absolutely ban ETC as well, but I'm going to take the Ariel ban. And for L5 here, they may just simply ban a Tychus, because then it really limits the damage pool for Raven. They could also ban a Li Ming. I think banning damage here is wise because of how many have already been removed now. We're going to ban Malfurion instead. And he is the top tier support, so there's not a shock that we see that ban.
So they want to have a fight without the top supports, and of course Raven having to think maybe they want to take Rehgar. They actually do take Karazim. Karazim has been rising a little more in HGC Korea, especially with having that palm. We don't see as much 7-sided strike. I don't think we have seen even once yet.
No, not yet.
It was all palm, but Karazim can get picks like we saw today. Amazing picks by Mary Day.
Well, L5 here is just looking for a tank and a support. The likely choices here are going to be Muradin, Johanna, going to be the Muradin, and the Rehgar one is the obvious pick here with what's left available. L5 has a really nice composition with what they've chosen, and now for Raven, they're looking for their damage. I think Tychus is a pretty solid choice, and alternatively they have Li Ming, but you don't really want to build Li Ming into this composition where you have Zarya. What's the point?
Yeah, I think L5 has way too much shield and protection to actually, for Raven to take Li Ming from here. I think they have to go around that choice.
It could be Gul'dan as well.
Yeah, Tychus seems alright here. They actually do go for Li Ming. It'll be super tough to blow, actually focus one and blow one.
I completely agree with you. I think the Li Ming pick is worse for the reasons we described when we were talking about the Gul'dan pick on Sky Temple in our first best of 5, where, you know, it's about the damage over time versus the shielding that can be denied. Either way, I think L5's got the better comp. They have a really standard, straight-up 2-damage tank Tastar support comp. We're going to go into this first map to see who will take the lead here. Yet again, our first map is Cursed Hollow for L5 versus Raven. See you in-game. In blue, L5 SC on Vala, Nitrogen on Falstad, Jungha on Tastar, Noblesse on Muradin, and Swoi on Rehgar.
And their opponent, Raven in red, Joju on Karazim, Hamlin on Zarya, NMX on Li Ming, Young on ETC, H82 on Ragnaros.
Interesting they put Young here on the ETC. Excited to see how this one plans out. The early game Zarya shenanigans I talked about. Looks like they're going to send that to the bot lane this time. Zarya shields herself, gets energy from the turret aggro, and does a massive amount of damage. When paired with these heroes, it's tough to punish that.
Nachogen is actually going to use the flight to fly all the way down with Noblette just to secure, but it is a little late, and Nachogen actually gets a lot of those skill shots. Noblette's just trying to delay a little bit more on this bottom. And NMX actually, we saw NMX yesterday, and his skill shots were pretty on point.
Look at how much damage Hamlin does with full energy. He's doing an insane amount of damage. Like, you can just get this full energy from the turret aggro, and you can maintain it for so long. If you're being aggressive like this, this is not enough. This is a huge win for Raven. They may get the healing fountain. Up here at the top, you can see what L5 is trying to accomplish with Tassadar. You know, he's got decent wave clear, can push, but they'll never do as much as Raven has just done in this bot lane. They will get this healing fountain.
Yeah,
well, fountain, whichever one you call it.
Raven really on point. They've already scored one against L5. Looks, they may actually put themselves in the danger zone as Rehgar. Falstad just died on that. And Swoi is also in trouble now from that. Well, this is the scary thing about Karazim. It's just so strong, and Dion just flying over Noblesse. He may actually... Nope, he just walks away.
These are some pretty big, uncharacteristic mistakes
from L5. Yes. They are playing 3 best of 5s in a row. Not in a row, but every single day from day one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely can affect their mindset and stamina and stuff like that, but SC will likely die here.
We lost words. Like,
yeah, I
think they are like before when they show the camera shots. Like Swoi was like yawning before he was going into the game. Maybe I think they're just not warmed up yet to the point. But this does not like complete the game. But still, they're even in EXP. But Raven did push a little bit more, and so far, compared to all 6 games they played before, this looks like their worst game so far.
Absolutely, would completely agree with that sentiment. And you know, the top lane, they got a lot of extra EXP there because Rag did go back. Diong up here trying to push them away so they can grab this first tribute. They have Li Ming, but she's not in position to poke, so this is a bit awkward. That's probably one of the reasons why they went with Li Ming, to be honest, for her poke and tribute deny potential.
And Falstad does want to fly over, but he's getting the camp, so he's going to take a longer time. This is a 5v4 right now. Joju does get the tribute in that time. All they have to do is just back away.
Trying to use the poke they have from Vala, and of course the damage that, or so the delay that Jong can do with Tassadar here in order to push this back. But it's definitely a win for L5 because of the soak that Falstad got in the bot lane. Nachogen's been kind of just soaking it up. And he is doing auto attack Falstad, so every minion he gets as well will make him stronger. And you know what's really interesting, just to talk about this very briefly, we're in a meta now with basically no, like, besides Thrall and occasionally Zeratul, it's not really a bruiser meta. So it's just interesting to me to see Jungha playing Tassadar, but like, we saw something similar yesterday, or not yesterday, Friday, I believe it was Kyocha playing Tassadar again, because the melee flex role is not really a thing very often. It's usually given to the Ragnaros in this case, and then the Tassadar comps, you don't have room for that melee when you go double damage like this. So just something I'm noticing in this new meta is we just don't really see melee assassins all too often.
Yeah, that's true. Like just a few months ago, Thrall was like the must pick from either side, or even banned sometimes. And now that Ragnaros is in, I guess Rag kind of took that spot in the way, because you can't, having 2 melees in this meta right now, I don't think that's possible. And we basically saw one of the games in day 1. I don't exactly recall which teams, but still.
Yeah. So it's just uncommon. So interesting to see like a melee assassin on Tassadar. And John is like one of the highest skill players in terms of mechanics in the world, but he's playing one of the simplest heroes just simply because of the nature of this meta. I just find that funny. But H82 is going to get caught here and starts to feel like Season 3 with the positioning there. Hamlin goes down as well. Poor positioning by Raven, and this 5-man death ball is just crashing through like a bowling ball, knocking over Raven like pins. And that was just H82's positioning there was poor. Again, Rag has no escape. He should never be the one. If you're there with others especially, Rag should not be the one in the front lines. Yes, he is pretty tanky, and he can do a lot of peeling in a fight, but he's not as tanky as ETC. He's not a Muradin, and he has no escapes.
And now L5, they have been soaking up a little bit more, and taking those kills were a little bit not... I'd say it gave them a little bit of advantage catching up and having that lead. And Raven really... Even though it is distribute is actually towards Raven, they're having a hard time. They're actually going to decide to camp all this time. DeYoung is just trying to stall time, just delaying just by a tiny bit.
They have to take another objective.
They're actually going for the boss here.
Yeah, and this is the 6-minute curse point boss that you take. We see a lot of Korean teams do this timing when they're ahead. It's consistently around 6 minutes. MVP Black started this. MVP Black is the first team to consistently do this, and we see this a lot. When you have a small lead like this, the split push to get 3 EXP lanes worth of soak is all Raven really can do. It feels weak, it feels terrible, but there's not much choice you have. Now they can rotate up and deal with the boss. They're hoping that it's going to be a lucky tribute spawn at top for them. But if they're unlucky, it's going to be a curse against them no matter what. There's nothing they can do. L5 will double boss to ensure they get the tribute no matter where it is. And it's a perfect lucky spawn.
Again.
Oh boy. You know what? I think actually both tribute, if I'm not mistaken, both tributes were top before, so it was going to be bought anyways no matter what. So L5 could actually have made this a calculated decision. Raven does have heroics now, and they are going to try to contest this. I like this. L5 is going to give the boss away, though.
Karazim's going to take a long time to come back, and Rag is already in Molten Core to do some poking. It looks like they do too much damage, and now it is their time to fight. And a mosh pit chosen from DeYoung again instead of stage time, where they do not have a global. Let's see how big a mosh can be DeYoung do this time.
Well, this is a lot of damage DeYoung just took. You know, the elephant in the room is the grave golem in the room here. Hold that thought. You can see 7-sided strike, this time used, I suppose, as an escape mechanism. And it is powerful with ETC. Hyde popularized this style back in the summer season of OGN. But I think this is a huge win for L5, despite the fact that they didn't get the bosses. But I was going, the elephant in the room is the grave golem in the room at the top that almost killed the keep wall entirely because Raven had to come down here and deal with this. Now Raven puts themselves on even footing in terms of the tributes, but the damage done by that boss, it was just, I mean, it'll never be repaired.
And Noblesse may find himself in a danger zone, but he just, he soaks up a lot of, that's a lot of damage though.
Luckily he's Muradin, so he'll be fine.
Yep, he's fine, he didn't even have to, he just walked away. I thought ETC was with them, so I was calling out that he may be a little bit dangerous, but luckily.
All right, they're going to try to put some lane pressure with this Merc camp to potentially force the boss again. They've got a really small window before the next tribute spawn, though I don't think they will be able to boss now. They save this last cannon tower here and just rotate in. The tribute spawn is, again, good for them over here on the left side.
I find it kind of funny, NMX Joju on Ballistics, and they're versing L5. And here comes DeYoung from the side. Let's see what kind of play he can make with that mosh pit. There are not too many CCs from L5, but still Vala has that Rain of Vengeance.
Yeah. All right, Noblesse just trying to heal up here. DeYoung is stopping his passive from proccing right now. Noblesse could actually try to come through here from the backside, but he comes in alone. 7-sided strike goes down, but an immediate Ancestral. H82 is channeling, but Nachogen will stop this beautiful expulsion zone, but it's only for so long. The dodge there on Li Ming's orb as well is huge.
This is the perfect timing for DeYoung to go into Mosh. Gust was used already, Ancestral already gone. If you can catch SCSC, and the SCSC blows up, and Mosh only catching Redguard. Still, it does a significant amount of change in the team fight. L5 losing that fight was one of the... I don't think they've had a game maybe about as close, but not as this bad so far.
Yeah, I definitely would agree to that, and Raven is playing well. There's some things that L5 has done that you could criticize, especially in the early game, but in general, this is on Raven's merits, not on L5's mistakes. Hamlin will get caught here. These are the mistakes we've been seeing all game long with the positioning problems on Raven. We saw already the catch on Rag when he was overextended. We're going to see this on Hamlin as well. There's no way out. He will die. Absolutely. No question. Force wall here to try to get something else. And you know what? With the no fort here, they almost do. But it feels like it's L5's curse, but it's not.
Yeah, it actually is. Is it me or just no less on Murden? I think he's actually making that Murden actually a lot tougher than it actually looks like.
Look, I mean, what did Raven accomplish? They got to keep wall, and they lost 3 lanes of EXP. They did not get any EXP. Now all their lanes are pushed, so they can't get any more. So right now, they don't have anything to do but to contest the boss. They're not contesting the boss. Zarya respawned too late, so L5 gets a free boss.
L5 did lose some EXP in the middle lane and also keep on losing on the top lane, but still they got the boss, which is a lot more important at the moment. And as the time goes on, it'll also become, as they have same level and about to hit 16 later on, about the same talent. If they have the boss, they have a lot more time to go around the map and macro as this is a bad idea.
Oh boy.
Getting caught, some center strike by.
He's gonna die. Down he goes. L5 is still gonna boss here, which is a bit outrageous. Thing is, they can always disengage, which they will. I thought they were gonna try to soak because the lanes are so much on their side right now, especially on the top to get EXP. They can leave this boss, but it forced the rotation up, so the bottom boss did a little bit more damage to the fort, pushed that lane a little bit harder. And Raven is, because they rotated up already, we're here already, might as well go ahead and boss.
If Falstad did not die and just flew over to the top to get the boss, I think Raven would be just way like out macroed right now. But hold that thought, let's take a look at this team fight. Noblesse and Dion getting caught a little bit, getting too much damage in the front line. Joju catching Noblesse just to save him.
This was a 4v5 on even talent tiers and even levels, essentially nearly there for a second. They just got 15. And then Falstad flew in, and now they're just going to take the boss. Wow.
And Noblesse making sure that no one comes around the side, just having that vision.
I mean, I just have to have my mouth wide open as to how this could happen. Dion is now isolated. He's going to die. He tries to mosh, too. That's 120 seconds of cooldown wasted, by the way. The Molten Core here doing a lot for Raven, but they should still lose this team fight, as 3 now are dead. Noblesse is on the boss. NMX gets a kill and a reset, but it won't matter. The boss is taken, and they only have 2 members to defend it. They already used Molten Core, and L5 is not done yet. They want the kill here on H82. Gust is now available. They actually might get both kills. In fact, I think they will get both kills. Tastar escapes there, and NMX needs to leave. It's just going to be the kill on H82, and the boss will push the keep wall.
And for a second, I thought NMX has a chance to turn this around, but of course, having Noblesse the Muradin just engaging heavily onto that back line, it was pretty tough. And this will be another curse. This will be the first curse for L5. The curse before actually looked like L5 curse, so I'm saying it's the second one. But
they pushed all the lanes away from Raven. They got the bottom keep wall, and then they lost a few members, and that was it. They will get 16 here, with all these minions now going to their side of the map with the L5 curse. Falstad is just going to soak all the minions. Soaking is super important during a curse. You need to make sure you do that. It's not just about killing structures. You need to make sure you still get EXP. So he clears the wave so that his minions are going to stack up onto that bot fort, so it's almost certainly going to go down. He didn't miss any EXP. Now he can come back in here as Joju is being very aggressive. Noblesse now in the front. It's super important to note here that Karazim has his level 16 talent now, so he's a lot more powerful. He does have that 7-side strike. If they can get a pick here, like if someone gets stuck because Dion gets a nice power slide, it could be great, but this is looking so good for L5 at this moment in time. Dion is dodged.
This is so hard because H82 is out of the fight. He does not have Molten Core because he just used it before he went down. So L5 knows that, trying to just being super aggressive here, and then now they look at that. The Mosh cooldown just went back, just came back, and then they started going back. I think they literally know like the exact time of the cooldown. Like maybe they counted 120 seconds.
Well, they saw him use the Mosh, and when he died, that's exactly 2 minutes. They could look at the game timer and say, look, there he has it now. So that's something people call it. Now, this is a good Mosh here, but the disengage, I should say, with Nitrogen with the Gust, very nicely done. Noblesse is caught here in a 7-sided strike, and they will not be able to turn this fight around. H82 is on the chase. Doesn't want to overextend here, but they just want this kill on the Noblesse. He's trying to get his trait to proc so he can get all that health back. Looks like it just barely will here just now.
See how harder it is to get a kill onto Noblesse because he was shielded twice. He could have actually, NMX could have actually got a kill if there were no shield, but we were saying this from the beginning. And just one kill, that was enough, but long chase, which actually cost Raven a little more compared to L5.
This was so unnecessary. No one is dealing with the Giants in the bot, which have killed the keep wall now, and will start to threaten the bot keep. The top keep is nearly dead. The middle one is damaged. Chasing and trying to get Noblesse at first, I understand. Then they just kept following him. I just watched Joju Radiant dash in and then leave while I'm watching a Merc camp on the minimap killing the wall. The macro play here from Raven lacking good judgment skills here in terms of what they should have been doing there. Should have been clearing that faster, moving back. L5 lost someone, but they got a big win. Half the respawn time of Nitrogen was burned by that chase.
Oh, look at that skill shot trade, both stunned at the moment. And Noblesse, of course, being a human ward in those kind of bushes, it's super important. And just actually the skill shots, I don't think Noblesse maybe missed one Stonebolt in this game.
I loved his Stonebolt on Diong on that chase, and then they still tried to follow. The top fort goes down. Nitrogen goes and makes quick work of that. He has all the room in the world to do so with this aggressive invade from Raven. And now they are going to control this tribute spawn location.
Oh, then they're going for boss, and L5 smells it. Falstad is the only one. He can literally get the tribute and fly over and contest for the let's see what happens. And they are actually not going to. Looks like they're going to back off.
They wanted to get a pick on Noblesse when he goes for the boss check with 7-sided strike. Like, if this were a hide, maybe they'd get it. Like,
I don't think it's possible with that shield, though.
Yeah, he has a shield. He has Call His Embrace because this is not reworked Tassadar. I feel like in the old times and without the Tassadar shield, you know, hide maybe could have made that work with Hong Kono, but in this case, Noblesse is just like, and your point is, all during this while, Nitrogen pushed top, got more stacks, got a Merc camp by himself, and is just going to come over here casually to fly in and make sure they can secure the boss because he has Gust, and they have 20 now. And what is Raven to do? They cleared mid, and they're a whole level of EXP behind. And what do you think L5's about to do? They're just going to go take Raven's boss too. Okay, Raven finally decides to get this boss. And L5, instead of contesting it, because they feel like they didn't have vision, so they didn't know when this was started, they maybe could have contested it, but because they don't know.
They want to go for camp and push all the way in, try to get that keep, because they have 20. Maybe they're all going all the way in to get this game, actually, not just the keep. And we see this kind of not mispick, but still, Moshes are not super well used today, and it's really hard. This meta, it is super hard for a good Mosh to come out and turn around the team fight. We've seen twice already this game.
H82 used this Molten Core super early, try to slow this down, but the keep is now completely exposed, and there's a decent amount of poke here with Bala to knock this keep down as well. They've got a lot of siege. Diyoung is looking for the Mosh, knows the positioning of L5, already all split, no one's standing on top of each other, and they are going to push for the core. No 20 here for Raven, and with Gust, there's just so much potential to kill this core right now. The boss does go down, so this is a bit risky. The Rain of Vengeance is good, though. Down goes Diyoung. There's no palm here. They're going to use Storm Shield. They have 20. And, wow.
Game is not over yet, but still,
like it's over,
I
man.
think there's way too excited L5 to use Gust is used, but ETC is down, but there's no boss, so they have to tank this one if they want to go all in. Let's see if they can make it happen. Raven still at the end, trying their best to defend, but Noblesse is just way too strong in the front line, keeps getting shielded, and Nitrogen, SCSC putting all that damage as they can. Core going down slowly by little bit by little. Lagnaros is just gone.
All right, here's the fly-in from Nitrogen. There's the last kill. They do get actually 2 picks here. NMX trying to turn this one around. Oh, the Hungering Arrow, not enough damage to kill him, but there's so much damage on this core now. I think it's time, G-Clef, for the GG music to happen for real.
Yes, now the music should come in. There we go. And L5, as expected, taking game 1, but they actually had a tough beginning of the game. And Raven actually had the beginning of the game in their favor. But in a long term, how they were trying to draw this picture, L5 they picked the right colors and they picked the right brush, and then they just started it a little bit later because they were napping before. But still, Raven, they really showed their potentials and what they can do. Maybe in the second map, if they choose to do so, they can have better chances of winning this time.
Either Dion was doing a new type of interpretive dance there, or he was really frustrated and explaining to H82 how he felt about how that game went. A lot to be said about the mechanical skill of L5. There were a few really weak moments and weak decisions. Zarya should not have been able to have accomplished as much as she did in the bot lane, and I completely agree with you, especially after watching Nitrogen's face after that game. I think they just needed some time to warm up, and they finally did. Their decisions on bosses were on point. They won several fights 4v5 while Falstad was soaking. They won several fights 4v5 while one of their members was dead and picked. And I feel like the advantages that Raven had were not used correctly. Like the curse, for example, they chased and pushed and tried to get kills. Lost members didn't get any soak. That chase in the bot lane while the Siege Giants were killing their bot keep wall, which is where the game actually ended at the end of all things. They just let that go. They tried to get the kill on Noblesse, which is never going to happen. It just felt like you could see